Hi everyone, this is Harry Hoffmann, BAM, Biblical Foundations. Let's start with Jesus. Jesus, the carpenter's son, Jesus, the carpenter, and part of the family business presumably his dad had. Let's get started. Matthew 13, Jesus was teaching in parables on his way to his hometown, and people were talking. Where does he get his wisdom from? How come he has so much power? Isn't this the carpenter's son? Isn't his mother's name Mary? And aren't his brothers James, Joseph, Simon, and Judah? Aren't all his sisters with us? Family. And Mark 6 as the parallel scripture to Matthew 13. Isn't this the carpenter? So Jesus as a carpenter, and in Matthew 13, Jesus as the carpenter's son, and all his family, his siblings, is mentioned. John Everett Millais painted this painting called The Carpenter's Shop in 1849-1850, Christ in the house of his parents, as an image of the family business Jesus came from. There would be a lot to say about this painting from an arts interpretation point of view, but let's just look at this. You have a family setting, the parents are there, the children are there, and it's a family business. And presumably they are building a door or a wall or a ceiling or some kind of partition here. I call this a micro-size BAM business, up to 10 employees or up to 10 staff. A small family-sized business, or even a one-person, a self-employed business owner who starts a business as mission initiative. Micro-size BAM. Before I go into the broader impact of the family business, into the 4 bottom lines, let me look at the term tekton, which is translated as carpenter. There's a big theological discussion if the word carpenter is actually correct, because the term tekton can also be translated as a stonemason or as a craftsman or as a builder. And the term builder or master builder obviously gives us much more space for interpretation than the term carpenter. Gives us more space to understand the spiritual impact and also the reasons behind Jesus using the parables he was using. The logic here is if Jesus was only a carpenter working with wood, he would have used parables that relate to woodwork. But Jesus used parables out of Matthew 16, for example. He refers to Peter as the stone, the rock on which I will build my church. So the rock relating to the building profession. Matthew 21, he uses the term cornerstone. In Matthew 7, he uses the building analogy as well. He compares a person who hears and acts on his words as someone who digs deep and builds on a rock. In Matthew 23, he compares the whitewash on the walls of tombs to the hypocrisy of the scribes and Pharisees. And when he talks about the cost of following him, the cost of discipleship in Luke 14, Jesus he compares this with the cost of building a tower to make sure there is enough money to finish it. And then Jesus has much to say about money, about ownership, trading, and employment, the skills of a business owner, the thinking of a business owner. And actually there are more references to these business aspects in Jesus' life than there are about wood, about stone, and about building. So you get the idea of a family business, Joseph and sons, the building contractors. So let's talk a bit about the impact based on the 4 bottom lines. The economical impact, I presume they lived off the income they made through their family business. The whole family financed itself through the family business. The social impact, which is typical for a micro-size BAM, up to 10 employees or staff, the social impact is not really massive. Jesus' social impact then was through his ministry, not through the family business. So shall I talk about that later and explain more about that. But micro-size BAM have the social impact is minimal, more on a one-on-one basis. The people you serve, the staff that you have and your clients that you have. There is a one-on-one social impact, which is also a social impact, but not really an impact into society. The impact that happened through Jesus was then through community outside of the business. The spiritual impact Jesus had was then through the parables, experiences through his business. He used and transformed them into principles, godly principles, biblical principles we call them today, which originated from his building profession, his craftsmanship profession, his business profession as well. And the environmental impact at that time can be neglected. There was only environment at that time anyways. So what do we learn here? A micro-size BAM, up to 10 people. Primary impact is the spiritual impact through teachings, through biblical God-centered teachings that originate out of the handicraft, out of the craftsmanship profession. Jesus had experience there from his craftsmanship, from people who work in craftsmanship, and from his family business, dealing with trading, with finances, and with building on rock. And then applying that to the spiritual life of discipleship, of living with God. What are the spiritual principles that you learn from your business, from your work, from the labor, from your BAM business? What are the spiritual principles that you take out of your daily labor? Think about this and write those down. I see you next time. We stay with the micro-size BAM business and we talk about Paul, because Paul had a micro-size BAM business as well. Talk about that next time. Bye for now.